All right, here we are. Here we are, guys. Welcome to the podcast. Today I have a special guest, a good friend of mine, Kelly Codrington. She's an amazing photographer. She's an entrepreneur. She's about women empowerment. And, I wanted to bring her on the show today because I want her to, tell you her journey in photography and how she wants to empower women and so forth. So welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
Truly.
Finally, we got past the intro.
We did.
That was
kind of
cool.
Tell them how long we spent.
Probably like 15 minutes. And I just sat down and we got it.
That was it. That was it. We just needed to get it out.
I needed to change that battery.
That's it.
That was bothering me.
You called it.
Yeah.
You know yourself.
For a fact.
It's important.
So just to let everybody know, this is my first show back in a little bit over a year. I've been really busy with other ventures, but the podcast room is in the back of my gym, so I'm always looking at it like I got to do one. And me and Kelly, we were kicking it, and we were like, let's get one going.
Absolutely.
So here we are.
It was big on my to-do list was to come through on other people's platforms. So to be here on yours is pretty dope.
Cool, man.
So, yeah.
I love it.
And I love that you're here to support other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I love it. Entrepreneurship is something that I, 17 years old, I think 18 years old, I opened up my first LLC. So I had that business mindset as a young kid. So I love entrepreneurs. Like, I know the grind, I know the hustle, the creativity, the highs, the lows, but it's always worth it.
I couldn't imagine like a different way of life now that I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, like I half-stepped for a while. I was scared. Like I went into it.
Actually, I'm sorry. Put that mic up to your mouth.
I was scared.
Not that close, but
I half-stepped for a while. I was scared. Like I went into all of the what ifs and how I can fail and the stresses of it, but I knew I wanted it. And then like once I couldn't let go of the feeling of wanting something, that's how I know I need to act on it. You know what I mean? So here I am as a registered business.
So wait, let me ask you, when did your passion, because you are a photographer, entrepreneur by heart,
100%.
But the photographer is the creative part, the business aspect.
Yes.
And that's how you make your money. That's how you make people look good. Mm-hmm. When did you fall in love with photography? Like, when did you know, like, I want to try that?
So it's really funny because like I've literally had a camera in my hand since I was in college. I mean, like back in the day out in the Hamptons at all the clubs, I used to take Polaroid pictures of people like at like the Foggy Goggle. I used to work for an agency out in the Hamptons like during the summers in college.
That's fun.
Yeah. But at that time I didn't like look at it as a passion. It was just a job. But I'm big on like, I was just saying before we even started this, I'm very spiritual.
Okay.
And I think that you kind of like choose your journey before you even come into it. And when I look back, I'm like, I was already into it in a sense back then on a much smaller scale, you know? So I did that for a few years. I was out on the East End in the summertime, taking pictures of people having fun.
Yeah.
It was candids. And I love candids. I'll be anywhere and I'm like, that's such a dope picture. I love watching people in their moments. I could get lost in that. Mm-hmm. And I love genuine moments. So I hung it up for years and years. I started my family. That was my main focus for a minute. And during the pandemic, like everybody else, I was like, what do I really want to do with my life?
No doubt. It's
not monotony. It's not being stuck in a box. It's not a 9 to 5. If people are okay with that, I'm happy for them. But for me, that was just, I'm not living the rest of my life like that.
Right.
So, but as far as like picking up on my passion, everywhere I would go, I couldn't stop thinking that's a moment, that's a shot. And I'm like, Kelly, you are being called to do this. Like tap into it.
So you're a people watcher. You like people, humanity, the way humans interact. So you like capturing those moments.
Absolutely. I'm always seeing a moment everywhere I go. Not even in just people, but in things too. Just the way the sun sets on things, just random things like,
I hear you. Because I kind of have that thing too with certain things. When I see things, I get a feeling from it. And I'm like, I know what you're saying.
Right. So I put myself out there in 2018 to friends and family. I was like, I want to start photographing events, and my friends and my family were the first people who gave me a shot.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Right. And it either could have flopped or it could have flourished from there. And it's flourished and then some. So
yeah, no, you're killing it. I
appreciate that.
Absolutely. I love your work. I'm like, all right, let me check. I didn't even like say, let me check her stuff out. It's just every time I see something, I'm like, that's dope. No, for real. Like I never even had to be like, oh, let me see how her stuff is. Normally I like to look at people's stuff to see like, oh, she's a photographer. Let me see. I'm not like that. But I was on your Instagram and I was like, damn, that's dope. Or it'll pop up on my feed. I'm like, wow, she's good. Like,
I appreciate
yeah, no,
that.
for real, you really are good. You got a good eye.
you.
You know, your lighting, like just everything you're doing, the way you their poses.
Yeah.
You know, you're really good. So I'm glad to have you here because I'm not gonna put just anybody, just any photographer. So she's definitely special. She's good at what she does.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for co-signing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you're a creative too in your own sense. So for you to respect my craft, like that's what's up. And there's a lot of vulnerability in putting yourself out there as an artist, you know? But once I got over not caring and knowing that I was proud of what I was putting out, it's amazing what kind of energy follows that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let me ask you, like, for other photographers, aspiring photographers out there, looking to get to your level, being in the industry for a few years already, making money, understanding it. How did you teach yourself? Did you go to school? Go into that. Let me know.
So no school. I mean, I do have a degree, but it's in business, and it definitely helps the other, the other ends and the other aspects of things. But as far as the technicality pieces go, I'm self-taught 110%. And that's also how I know I'm where I'm supposed to be, because my passion for learning, digging, signing up for classes, holding value in the people who are, who want to teach me, because that could be funny about the industry we're in. You're going to find a good portion of people who want nothing to do with putting you on, helping you out, raising their hand out to you to bring you up.
Right.
But then there's a lot of people who will do that for you.
Right.
So, you got to find those people. You have to find your community. And you got to hold on to them, and you have to I bounce a lot of work off of people. People bounce work back, back off of me. So it's knowing your community, placing value in them, and always learning from each other.
Right.
I'm really good at posing people, where somebody might be more technical at lighting. Somebody I was working with in Brooklyn last week, she's better at lighting. I'm really good at posing. We come together and we make magic.
No doubt.
Find your magic squad.
Right, no doubt, no doubt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were saying you took some classes. So that's just part of the just learning the nuances of the camera and different
110%. But you're not going to grasp it by reading it. You have to get out there. You have to practice. You have to make a lot of mistakes to learn from them. In photography, 110%. If I could offer some advice.
No doubt. No doubt. You got to get out there. And what about did you ever do those? They do those, not a hike, but those city trips where people go in the city as a group and then just walk through the city and take pictures.
Yeah, they do a lot of that on Long Island, actually. If anybody needs to hear it because they didn't know it, they do a lot of hikes. Yes, absolutely. I've done a few of them, meetups.
Right, they're called meetups, photography meetups. You go and there's one instructor kind of. And
I did one on the East End at a farm. It's called a photography walk. So they'll put you in these really cool situations. It was at a horse farm. So I wouldn't be on that farm if I didn't sign up for the walk. So to be there and then walk with other photographers and kind of what are they shooting with and where are they at and where are they seeing the shot from? So it's fun to put yourself in positions like that 110% along the way.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
And what would you say your style of photography is? What's your favorite type of photography?
So I got into photography. I knew this was kind of where I wanted to be. This is it for me. This is my career. This is my passion. This is probably how I'm going to rock the rest of my working career out. So I said to myself, I know I love taking pictures. I know what situations I love being in, but really what's my why behind photography? It was really important for me to find that about 2.5 years ago. So I tapped into, where I could help, because I'm all about helping. It's not what I could do for myself, but it's what I could do for other people, my time here, and if I could do that through my career, that's really what's up.
Right. Absolutely.
So I really tapped into what is that for me?
Okay.
And I thought about what did I struggle with my entire life. As a woman, I don't think anybody could answer that it's not body image, body acceptance, body positivity. So boudoir on Long Island is kind of a big deal. So I tapped into that a little bit.
For people that don't know boudoir,
it's a literal art form. Sometimes I'll have people oh, you photograph naked women, and I'm like, no, that's not what I do. Let's get it straight. First of all, it's a literal art form.
Right.
It's the art form of being playful. It's not photographing quote unquote naked people. So
right.
I'm
but
glad
bringing out the sexy in them a little bit without being too.
So I'm careful to say that, right? Because for me, I'm coming in and I really want to reinvent boudoir. So I don't even call it boudoir. I call it empowerment. So I'm here to kind of like start a little bit of a movement in that genre of photography, because for women, that might be the problem. It's not the same for everybody. Throwing somebody in lingerie might not make everybody feel powerful.
No.
I want to know. I want to get to know you. And building relationships with my clients has been like huge, and especially in that segment of my work.
Okay.
So I call it empowerment, and I tap into it, and it's not the same for everybody. If you are a powerhouse professional, you come and bring your blazer. We'll do some professional, we'll do some more risque, but we're going to tap into who you are and how you feel good.
Right.
And not every woman can answer that either. So I like to just like kick it with people and get to meet people, and like just conversing with people, like one foot in front of the other.
Right.
I like to think I'm helping women tap into it if they don't even have that answer right now.
Right. And I see that in a lot of your work. Like, our mutual friend Stephanie and
Love her.
Georgia and Kelly and all them. You did an amazing photo shoot with the girls.
You.
I was like, damn, how come I wasn't invited? Like, I don't. Oh, that was a dope shoot. So yeah, like you really like in that realm of what you do. You really brought out like their personalities.
Yeah, Stephanie was a huge because she knew all the girls. She got that group together.
Yeah,
and she kind of knew she was very selective on who she asked to participate, and we put it together, and she knew what every woman was. So she was just such an asset to that project because she really knew where every woman. Georgia bought her guitar because she's just this old school hipster, and I'm like, this is great. It couldn't have been a more amazing group of women who knew where they are and where they're trying to go and showcase that, and there was such diversity in it, which you clearly saw.
Yeah, I saw that. You brought the best out of that. That was really, really nice.
Thank you.
So we're gonna keep talking, but I just want to say anybody out there, just know all the information is below. She's available. Where are you based out of?
So I actually have a studio right on Main Street in Patchogue.
Okay, that's dope. How long have you had that?
So I was working out of a studio out of my home. It was completely private up until the end of last year, and then I had an opportunity come that I couldn't say no to. So nice commercial storefront, Main Street, Patchogue.
That's crazy.
Spot. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe.
Growth. That's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
And you got to just keep one foot in front of the other, I know when we were conversing about topics for, what we wanted to speak on, it's just amazing too, because my other passion lies in branding, and not to deviate too much, but
no, we're not deviating. That's who you are.
That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, I love all of my work, and I'm grateful for all of it, and I pour my heart and soul into all of it. But I would say empowerment and branding are huge for me, because just like you, I have a passion for helping other entrepreneurs grow.
No doubt.
If you're out here and you realize you love doing something, let me help you make that happen.
Right.
We live in a visual world where everything is social media right now, right?
Yeah.
So I get really excited, let me make you look as good as you feel. Let me make those product looks, look as good as they do right now in front of me, because that's the world we're living in, you know? So, but failure to launch is where I was going with that, right?
Well, I don't want to go too far because you just touched on branding, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if we could touch on this, but anyway, I just noticed you did a shoot for Brooks.
Yeah.
Right. So that was branding, and
that's
was what
a
you're
good
talking
one.
about, and it came out really dope. And
thank you.
Yeah. So how did that come about? And what was your process and the creative process of doing that shoot?
So that was a good friend that I made through social media, and they had gotten ambassadorship because they love what they do, and they're very dedicated, and they put a positive spin on their why as to what they do, and the brand recognized that, and they were getting a lot of new products, and they were just kind of looking for somebody to showcase that,
right.
So that they had content for their socials, so that it hit as hard on their socials as it did in their, in their
right.
soul.
That's fun. That was fun for you.
Oh my God.
Because you're mad people are going to see this.
110%.
And you're like, all right, that's an exciting project.
So to be associated to, such another dope,
global
person
brand
who operates on passion along with a very huge brand, I'm like, okay, this is happening, know?
Stuff like that opens up even more doors for that type of work.
110%.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship, working with other entrepreneurs, helping them see, you know, it's important to get out of their way. Let's just come up with a plan. You know, I think a lot of people fail to launch in that entrepreneur journey because they're already thinking of everything that can go wrong.
Yeah. Instead of thinking everything that can go right.
Everything can go right. And you know, sometimes I think people want to have it all mapped out before they even start. And I said, why don't we just start with branding?
Yeah.
Why don't we just start with one thing?
Yeah.
You don't need to have it all. It's good. You know, as an entrepreneur, you do have to be organized, but
you'll get there. It comes together over time.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. One foot in front of the other. And grace.
Yes.
Grace is a huge thing for me as an entrepreneur. I'm constantly forgiving myself for mistakes. So,
you have to.
110%.
Like a week ago, I was really actually for the past couple of weeks, I've caught myself focusing on more of my negatives. And I'm like, whoa, that's not you. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're always look at the positives. So and it's always once you change the mindset, things just fall back into place.
We all do it though. I had gone live earlier this week and I spoke about it. As humans, we get more endorphins focusing on negativity than we do. It's like a known fact, apparently. So once you retrain your brain, right? I'm all about cognitive behavior. You got to just get in the habit of go. It's cool to think the negative. You just got to get right back into
the positive.
Right back to it.
For so Kelly, for the aspiring photographers tuning in, aspiring entrepreneurs tuning in, women that want change in their life and they know they have something to offer, you know, whether it be photography, whether it be any type of business. You know, maybe they're good at baking, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know, what steps as an entrepreneur would you advise them or, you know, talk about to have them start that business and then, you know, eventually be a successful business?
Take yourself seriously enough to just register yourself as a business for starts from jump. You know, do your research. You know, is that DBA going to be better for you? The LLC, the S Corp, and yeah, it sounds scary, but it's not.
It's not.
Start talking to people. We got Google. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are smart enough. You have what it takes. Register yourself. Yes. Because for as long as you're out here saying you're a business, you're not really until you are. It's how I see it. I'm big on that. And it aggravates me. I'm like, so you're registered, right? No. And I'm like, well, then you're not really a business.
Right. But there's benefits. So people might not know that there's benefits to having a business. Right. Write-offs.
110%.
You know, business credit.
Right.
You could, you know, get credit to buy more equipment, to build your business. Right. So once you have that registration, there's perks that come with that. There's not negatives.
Well, that was going to be like a whole other thing that I was going to segue into as well is, don't.
My bad, Kelly.
Oh, no. I was like, move over. Let me go sit over there. I'm like, yo, Kristian, can I come host a show?
If you want, let me know.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, you got to separate your entities, right? A lot of people don't realize that either. And it's really important. Like who you are personally and who you are as a business are two totally separate entities. Tap into your resources, your lines of credit. It sounds scary. It's not, you know. And for me, you know, my plan, I want to establish myself and my brand to a point where I could eventually maybe sell my brand. Like that is my vision for my business. I'm not saying everybody wants to have the same thing, but that's a possibility when you own a business.
For sure.
Yeah, if you do it the right way. You have to lay down the foundation for it to be a brand that you can pass off to somebody else one day.
Yeah, most of the time that is the goal. You know, I don't know, you know, about more along the lines of gyms that you could establish, build a brand and sell it, and there's already what's it called, clientele that comes with the business.
Right.
So in photography, how could that work in photography?
I
just use that as an example.
So I'm still even coming up with some answers myself. You know, a lot of this I'm talking off of, I'm still learning and I'm still building a foundation on, you know, I'm still getting there myself. Right. You have to show repetitive, you know, clientele. Yeah. I mean, I have it, you know,
of course,
but I don't even have the answer to that right now in my line of work.
But that could be for just a broad answer to anybody who owns a business.
110%.
Build a brand to eventually sell that brand.
Right.
You know, the Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
For instance, that guy, he I think he sold it for like $3 billion.
Yeah.
That was a brand. He moved on. There's million.
Yeah, but even look at like Stanley. Everybody's like Stanley. And I'm like, I remember my dad back in like the 80s or 90s coming home with his Stanley thermos. I'm like, because I remember the little like, I don't know, it was like a dragon or pentagon or yeah. And I'm like, Stanley's not new. And there's a whole like, it was just reinvented. It was done right. It was done right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it was. They did it. I actually saw the episode or an article on how they did the cans and the color schemes, and it was more attractive to women, and
a whole psychology behind it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what? Anything else like for the people that are just getting started to take it to the next level and get their first type of clientele? How could they start drumming up some business? What would you advise?
I'm going to be real honest. So sometimes photographers, now, at this point, I'm not giving away work for free because I worked my ass off to get to that point.
Right.
However, when I first started off, you better believe, like, I was building my portfolio, like, can I photograph you? Because I really want to. And I wasn't getting paid. So, like sometimes I feel like people turn their nose up at doing that. And like I said, I wouldn't do that now because I've arrived. 100%. Yeah. But you better believe I put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, time, free work, and passion to get there. And a lot of that was free to show what I was working with, to show what I was worth. So if I could offer any advice to an upcoming photographer, you might have to put yourself out there. You might need to give a lot of your time, but that's with any business. It's never going to grow without that sacrifice is the word.
You have to put yourself out there, 100%. Like, I don't know who was it, but one of my friends, they were getting into photography. I was like, why don't you go to the pumpkin farm? Just tell them you're going to do it for free.
Right.
And then you just take pictures of them.
Right.
And you give them like this, you scan the barcode and go home and it'll be up later or something.
Right.
And she's like, oh, yeah, that's really a good idea. Like, imagine like 300 people get to know you today.
Right.
You get 2 people out of that and you keep doing stuff like that. You're going to get a clientele over the,
you said the next thing that I was pretty much going to also like build on networking. You have to network and you have to know what kind of networking is good for you. Like I've been in certain situations where I'm like, thanks for the invite, but I'm going to honor that we're not going to grow off of each other and keep it moving. So you have to be in tune with that, the proper networking, but you got to get yourself out there.
Yeah. Use the Facebook community pages.
Yes.
Put yourself in there. Like if you want to do a free photo shoot, put it in there. People will call you up.
100%.
You can be selective of who you want to work with. Just put yourself out there. And that's a good way for your local area to get to know who you are.
Right. And mess around with like what kinds of photography gets you fired up and where you're passionate. If you haven't shot a lot of maternity, do a model call for that maternity, find out if it works for you. I always know what I love doing most because I'll go home and I'll want to pop it in and start editing.
Right.
And then there's some jobs where I'm just like,
I'll wait.
I'll get there.
No doubt.
So you got to also be in tune with what fires you and really rock that. So.
No doubt. Any projects you have going on right now that you're excited about?
Right now, what do I have? A lot going on right now. I actually, like a vision of mine, and it's funny, I was just talking to another photographer. I want to do like something out east this summer with like surfers in Montauk.
Dope.
Like I want to and highlight like small businesses on the East End. Okay. And like I want to spend time. We live on Long Island.
Yeah.
And I love Long Island. I feel like a lot of people jump on that whole, like, I hate it. I want to get the hell out of here. And I'm like, I love it,
I love it too.
And I want to tap into being on the East End and maybe do like a project on like the beaches. What is that? There's that one, maybe Ditch Plains where all the surfers go.
I think it's Ditch Plains. I'm not sure, but it sounds like
I want to do, and it's been a vision of mine for a few years. So when you said that was the first thing that came to mind, and
dope.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everything you do, you make happen. So
thank you.
I look forward to seeing that project.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody that works with you? Like, do you have a team?
I do. So it's funny. I have my niece. She's my team. If I have a team, it's really right now it's one solid core person, and I have a few people on the industry that I'll call on.
Okay.
Like if there's an event I can't do, but I'm passionate about that because she's younger, and I'm teaching her, and I don't let her get away with crap. I'm like, come here. Like, this is how you could have done this better. You know what I mean? Like, you like doing this and you want to do it. I really want to show you the right way to do it. So she's my team.
She does photography?
Yes. So yes. So she does a lot of my events. Okay. So when you ask if I have a team, she's my main girl.
That's what's up. Awesome.
Yeah.
So family, right?
Yeah.
And nothing better than helping family.
No.
That's awesome.
And it works. Some people be like, I don't mix the two. And I'm like,
it's different
been working for a minute, or we're fine.
Right. Right.
I don't
And you're
need
grown, you're mature, you're not going to let nothing bother you.
No. And if it doesn't work, I still love you.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that being said, like, I'm glad you guys all tuned in. I'm glad, Kelly, thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was huge for my soul. Thank you.
No doubt. Awesome. Kelly's awesome. She's great at what she does. And, if you guys want to, get in touch with her, ask her some questions, or even hire her to get some work done. I mean, she's amazing. So, how could they reach you? How could they get in touch with you?
I mean, Instagram's huge. K Collections Photography, LI. We'll link all of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My website, my Facebook, it's all linked there. So, okay. But yeah, hit me up on Instagram.
Okay. And how hard is it to book you?
I have availability. I mean, we're not like 6 months out or anything like that, so I can always fit you in. We'll make it happen.
And just give a quick rundown of what type of photography you do.
Really, I mean, portraits, maternity, boudoir, newborn. I won't not do anything. I'll make it come to life. Branding's huge for me right now, though. So if you're out here trying to build your brand, holler at your girl.
All right, no doubt. Yeah. What about weddings? You didn't say weddings. You don't do weddings?
Nope.
Okay.
I do. No. Okay. It is, and I love that. I love that I know that I want nothing to do with them off of the jump. First of all, it's just a scheduling thing for me. Like I have a family. I just don't want to be really working a Saturday night.
Right.
And I'm honest about it.
No
you
doubt.
don't want me there if I don't want to be there on a Saturday night.
It's not it's just not your realm of work. That's all. It's all good.
Right. And I just don't get fired up in those situations.
I just wanted to bring it up because I didn't hear you say it. So I wanted them to know if that's what you did.
No. And I know so many passionate wedding photographers, and I love that for them.
Yes.
But I will, I do pick them up, but they're usually more like smaller vow renewals, smaller ceremonies.
Okay.
You won't find me at the watermill.
Okay.
On a Saturday.
Got you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you heard it from her mouth. You know what she does. All her information is below. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, Kelly, thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Peace.